Teacher is like a catalytic agent in the journey of the self-discovery. There is also a question comes that why should we study uh, the Eastern wisdom? I want to know myself. I want to know the real self. Why I should pick up the text and study the text? So I pick up the mirror to see myself. So these books are like a mirror by which I see here is the real self and here it is not. That is why we have to take reference of the text. So there are people who say, no, no, why you are teaching from the text? I said, you don't want to accept me as a mirror. You have lot of confusion and conflict and you have lot of opposition. So I'm taking a third party which is totally unbiased. So why don't you listen to that unbiased text? Or you want to keep your arrogance and the ego all the time. And that is the problem. Where there is ego, there is bondage and suffering. Where there is no ego, there is liberation. So one doctor left me recently and she said, you always pick up the text. I said, yes, I have to pick up the text so that you can see yourself. What is in the text? Every text of Eastern wisdom says, here is your real self. So at least you are able to see your real self through the text. Text acts as a mirror. Otherwise, what happens, you keep on your own biased opinion. You are constantly suffering and still you do not want to understand why you are suffering. And after all, you are a doctor. You also take a reference of the knowledge from the text, and that's how you guide the medication. So there is a misunderstanding about J. Krishnamurti, about Nisargadatta Maharaj, about Maharshi Raman. Find out who am I. How you can find out who am I? Unless there is some mirror which you see, and that mirror is the text. That mirror is the tradition of the Eastern wisdom. That tradition tells me, just think of it. The majority, I would say 8 billion people, leave aside even 0.001% who have studied the Eastern wisdom. And for a while you forget about the Eastern wisdom. How can you know what is real self? Can you create by yourself? No. Everyone is suffering stress, anxiety, duality, relationship problem, ignorance. That is what we collectively say ignorance. And the people are not ready to accept that this is ignorance. No, you are responsible for my problem. Let me divorce you. Or what happened when you were soulmate? You see that? Look at our Grandmaster Putin. Arrogance, ego. Look at Elon Musk. They cannot think that what exactly is the real self, but someone has to tell you that there is a real self so that I can recognize, I can understand, and I can then my intellect should realize what I'm doing is wrong. So the moment any talk of the real self, pure consciousness comes, pure consciousness is your essential nature. It is the Eastern wisdom. Who am I? It is the essential nature. Don't you know who am I? I'm an engineer, I'm doing this, I'm a husband, I'm a wife. That is what everyone knows. So Eastern wisdom acts as a mirror. No! Look into the mirror, you are not none of them. You are a different. You are totally different. You transcend the body mind complex. You transcend your gender. You transcend all the labels. You are pure consciousness. That is why we have to study. Initially, I also thought I was totally arrogant when almost 40 years ago, and I know who am I, finished. And I realized that no, it is not possible. I must use the reference as a mirror. And the life changed completely. So both, so we learn, we study the text. Why? To know my real self through a live teacher. You cannot learn from a dead teacher. Dead teacher means that you can study the text, but it cannot fully answer your doubts based on your mind. That is why we have a master and a disciple tradition. It's so clear. So, and every session we talk about existence, we talk about who am I, directly, indirectly, so that we understand what are the doubts and we can clear our doubts. Look at this year number 1, 2, 3. And this is our daily experience. Senses looking at me, here a guy, beard guy comes, who is supposed to be a teacher teaching. Seer number 1 and 2 are involved. But we are so much obsessed that either we are a seer number 1 or seer number 2. But behind that, there is another seer who is number 3, is a witness consciousness, pure consciousness. It is only one, it is all pervading. Seer number 1 and 2 are localized. If I talk in the terms of physics, they are local, they are localized. But seer number 3 is all pervading. Seer number 1 and 2 are many, seer number 3 is only one. When we get these thoughts in the head and we start looking at it, the mind starts changing. And then we say that, you see, because of the seer number in 1 and 2, if you get obsessed, if you claim you are seer number 1 and 2, that is why you become arrogant, you react, you have a obsession, you have a craving, you have ignorance. Because you are localized. You want abundance of love. Being local, not possible. You want permanent peace in all locations, in all conditions, at all time, in all relations, while being a local, not possible. Do you see? The node number 1 and 2 makes us a local. And that being local means I am limited. Being limited means that I am suffering from limitations of all kind. How can I have a complete security? How I can get out of the total complete from the fear? Not possible, because I'm local. Who makes me local? See number 1 and 2. See number 1 and 2 makes me local. So when I become a local, I become a husband. And then I don't realize I have become a husband, but I treat myself, I'm a husband. How dare you? Divorce. I am a wife. Divorce. went to the dentist, and she is a wonderful doctor. She was cleaning my teeth. So, did you get married? Yes. No, no, I got engaged. So, what about your belief to that guy whom with you're engaged? 50-50. So, why you got engaged then? 50-50. If you have a doubt. Do you think that you have to remove the doubt from your crazy head, or you want to check the others whether they fit in your system or not? So she was looking at me. What you do? I said, you guess from my beard. You look like a professor. You can say, I can say yes. You can short off. Professor professes, teaches, educates. That's what I'm doing. She's quite, I would wanted to check the American mind, American young mind. I said, I never asked your credential. I came here and I found that you belong to one profession, hence I'm receiving a treatment. Can you have that simple mind in your relationship? So she was started staring. She said, American mind is different. I said, change that. Otherwise, you will suffer. And it comes because of the seer number 1 and 2. That is why we are talking of the witness consciousness. That witness consciousness is nothing but I am. And we have to contemplate and reflect. We have to think. We're already a higher seeker. So, a higher seeker tries to understand, sit, contemplation. How long we have to do it, one I told millions of times. You have to attend my session millions of times. So he looked at me. I said, when you recognize you are the real self, those million times are gone. Until then, you have to recognize it. So that witness consciousness, so we can give a very simple metaphor. I told you the metaphor are not, they are identical but not similar. So look at the TV screen where you are watching a movie. Your favorite actor, plot, actress is there, the villain is there, everything is moving. But I forget the movie is moving on something that is not moving. So knower number 1 and 2 is moving, knower number 3 doesn't move. So what happens? The world appears as a drama. What is that world? I'm a husband, I'm a wife, I'm a brother, I'm a sister, I'm a businessman, I have money, I have no money. All are drama created by the knower number 1 and 2. Not knower number 3 says, without me, you cannot have any drama. If you don't have a TV screen, you don't have a monitor, I can't see you. This is all drama. But nothing happens to the monitor. Monitor remains as it is. It's a very rough example, but that monitor is the knower number 3. It is a witness. It is simply watching. You run a porn movie, you run a meditation session. Nothing happens to the monitor. You watch a horror movie, you attend a session on meditation, or you start running the movies on sex. Monitor says, I'm okay. I'm okay. But when I am running a porn movie, I'm totally lost into that because of pleasure seeking. So when I am lost, I have forgotten the no number three. That is the problem. You remember it, you are already in meditation. Do you see that? That this knowledge, this understanding, this wisdom comes from the Eastern wisdom. They act like a mirror to us to know who we are. So even if you imagine and conceptualize and think more and more that there is something deep inside, like like the TV screen that never changes, that is like a monitor. So you are not running after the porn movies if you are not a seeker. You are not running after a meditation session also. You discern. They are separate from you. It has nothing to do with both of them. So you find the no number three. That is the message. Whether Nisargadatta Maharaj starts the journey from who am I, or Maharshi Raman, who am I, or other masters. See that. This I have to sit, contemplate, and reflect. Yeah, there is also one more aspect, and then I will make it simple. We are 100% clear that the real self gives the consciousness to the mind, and then mind becomes active. So our master makes another wonderful statement that you cannot separate mind from the consciousness. So modern psychology says mind is mental consciousness. We say no, they are two different. You recognize them that they are two different, you are done. Yeah. But how do you recognize? Now, no, there is another question comes. What they cannot be separated. So can you tell me that how closer they are? I told you they cannot be separated. Why you're asking me how closer they are? How near? What is the distance between the mind and the consciousness? Tell me what happens in deep sleep. Where you are. I am nowhere. So when you wake up, who recognizes here you are? Mind. Oh, so the consciousness is reflected into the mind, and the mind recognizes here I am. But you are real self, you are a witness consciousness. My goodness, is a confusion? Yes, remove the confusion. When I say I am, that I am has two I am. One I am is the mind, one I am is the real self, one I am is the witness consciousness. Who is watching the movie? I am. The mind is watching the movie. Are you aware of the TV screen? Yes. That I am is the real I am. I am watching TV screen on which the movie appears. I have resolved the problems between the two I am. So I'm living in meditation all the time. Again, I'm
But
repeating. What I'm
for real,
repeating? Yes, I am repeating that I am aware of the TV screen. It means I have separated the TV screen from that I am who is watching the movie. But how I separate? Did I separate from the screw or a hammer? I separate in my mind. So what is that separation is known as? It is known as Viveka. We are learning highest level of Viveka. See,
But but no difference for yourself. What is on the TV screen?
I did not understand your question.
For consciousness,
Yeah, for the TV
no.
screen, no movie is different. Everything appears superimposed. So that is why this mind and the consciousness, where there is a mind, there is consciousness. Where there is a clay pot, there is a clay. Where there is a wave, there is a water. You cannot separate wave from the water.
But in deep sleep,
Mind
no.
is not functioning outside, but mind
But
is there inside. That recognizes that I had a deep sleep when I wake up when in a waking state. So mind is still present. It cannot be separated. Only one thing: in a waking state, I become conscious, I can communicate and talk. In deep sleep, that mind is withdrawn completely, but mind is still exists. That is why I recognize when I return in a waking state that I had a sound sleep. For the consciousness, there is no sleep, there is no dream, there is no waking state. For the sun, there is no day and night. Do you see? For the sun, there is no day and night. For the water, there is no wave and the storm and the tsunami. Water is water. For the space, there is no skyscraper. There is no. I have a small house as compared to the skyscraper. Space is space. Look at these things, that Noah number three have to be recognized. The moment I say I am, two part. I should instantly become aware whether I'm working at my office or whether I'm talking to my honey to I am. Honey, I love you. Thank you, honey. I recognize you love me. Whom do you love and whom you do not know? Otherwise, the relationship is working fine. Do you see? Now your mind does not, that I am, that mind, or knower number one and two, does not create any conflict with a honey who says, I love you. Even the honey says, I love you because of money. Why? Because you recognize who you real are. So whenever the opportunity comes, you say, here is my limit, my honey. I also love you. With that limitation, we both will be happy. You see, now you move with the kindness. Why you move with the kindness? Because the knower number three is manifesting through the mind. Mind has not taken over the real life. Because the discernment, Viveka is there. So whether you are moving your hands, you can be in a meditation. Whether you are sitting still, you are in meditation. Whether you become angry over someone to get the things done, but separation is there, the Viveka is maintained. No problem. No problem. Aha. Look at the state. Look at. They said that Maharaj continued to smoke. But that was 2 IM separated. We can easily understand. Vivekananda landed in India after 2 years of tour to US, and he saw. Have you seen Indian hookah? Now hookah is famous. Hookah bar and hookah, etc., is famous. So he saw a guy smoking hookah. He said, "Now I know that I have reached India."
But I read in some yoga texts that all city is sleeping, but yogi is not sleeping.
Yes, yes. So
So
that
there is,
node number three never sleeps. That is the message. Sun never rises, never sets. The water remains the water, even if it is tsunami or it is totally calm. Still, it is water. Definitely, that symbolic expression. Uh, and I told you, my master, I used to massage his uh, legs, and now he started snoring, and I said, "It is done." So I stood up and I folded my hand with eyes closed, and the moment I opened my eyes, and he was sitting. He said, "How dare you think that yogi ever sleeps?" I said, "This is too much, I don't believe this." I was very young. But I tried 20 times. I said, I will use today's opportunity, massaging him, his feet, and I will see that I will wait for his snoring for half an hour and then I will go. And I tried again. I tried 20 times. And every time he used to sit down, and the last time he said, "Don't you think enough is enough?" I said, "Yes, now it is enough." It is enough. You discover that state of the consciousness. Yes, you are right, it is possible. It is 100% possible because that sun is the real self that never rises, that never sets at all. Because the moment the knower number one and the two labels, you are gone. And you lost touch with the knower number three, you are gone. Any label you give. I'm Elon Musk, richest. Come on, how can you be the richest? I'm the richest. Means knower number three is the richest. Knower number one and two, you may become rich, you may fall down. The shares of the Twitter are already going down. So, and who knows? China stops producing the Tesla car. The next day your shares are down. And because you are knower number one and two, you will suffer from depression. We will not. We will not. We remain the richest. Who can teach us this except the Eastern wisdom, except these masters? Another point is very important. That is what the teacher teaches to the seekers. Vidya dadati vinayam. Now look at the modern science. So we do the bachelor's, then the master's, then the PhD, then the thesis, and we built an arrogance. What you do, and I have done 2 PhDs, a sense of arrogance works. Did you do PhD in the life? Did you discover? Did you do PhD in the real self? No, that's why you are arrogant. We have lot of intellectual property rights. It's okay. But when we learn Eastern wisdom, the master says, Vidya dadati vinayam, the knowledge leads to humility. In modern education system, the knowledge leads to arrogance. Knowledge of electrical car. I am the only guy. The people start already copying it. Now you have electrical vehicles from all the different manufacturers. Within few years, you'll be gone. And we don't know who will make the best. And there is nothing like best in modern knowledge. You still have a scope because it is constantly changing. So even if I have done PhD, I should be moved with the humility. Knowledge must result into humility. If it is not, then that knowledge still lives in the knower number 1 and 2. It has not gone into the knower number 3. What a big deal. I become a millionaire and I can make a wrong statement against anyone. People notice it. Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayam dadati patratam. So that humility is a receptivity that results into Viveka. Arrogance cannot result into Viveka. See that? So Vidya dadati vinayam, the knowledge results into humility. And then in the second line, this master says, Vidya dadati vinayam dadati patratam. So that level of receptivity, that Viveka, results into a qualification, the higher qualification of a dispassion. So in that state of a dispassion, you see, another thing comes. What do you see? Do you get rid of the mind? No. Now you are constantly aware this mind is false. It has borrowed the consciousness. So it should work in the interest of the real self, not in the interest of arrogance. So when we say Buddha was full of compassion, no. He cannot stop being compassionate. He cannot stop being kind. It was not his practice. He recognized the knower number 3, so the knower number 2 has to remain humble. Why? It depends on, dependence is there. So when the knower number 2 and the 1 recognizes, the mind and the sense organ recognizes, I am a knower for a while, I can change, anything can change, my role can change, so I should not stick to it. Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayam dadati patratam, patratvat dhanamapnoti. So inner treasure opens. That qualification opens your inner treasure. What are those inner treasures? 6 treasures. Sam, Dham, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan. What is Samadhan? It is nothing but a meditative state. Simply by understanding, not by practicing. And then what happens? So if you continue the journey in the same direction, dhanat dharma tatah sukham. So because it inspires to live you the righteous life outside and recognize your real self inside. Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayam dadati patratam, patratvat dhanam apnoti, dhanat dharma tatah sukham. So you experience, you discover that permanent peace in your life. See that. A master can start with the knower number 1. Sense organs are the seer, the world is the seen. So I'm attached to the food Tushti, Trakti, and Rati. Now you can remind yourself. We have covered that topic of Tushti, Trakti, and Rati. Without the knower number one, I cannot recognize anything outside. How? So when I don't recognize, then how can I understand Tripti, Tushti, and Rati? So my knower number two helps me to understand how it understands from the Eastern wisdom. So then I recognize my sense organ is not obsessed with an object, it is the mind inside. So it means what is tapasya, what is austerity then? Austerity is not to become blind, I don't want to see anything, but to take care of the mind. The mind has an element of an obsession or an attachment or a craving or an arrogance or an end. But why I want to do that? To become a seeker. But why I want to become a seeker? Without becoming a seeker, I cannot recognize the witness consciousness. Look at. That is why we have a negation and affirmation. We covered in Ashtavakra Gita. You see that, we are covering from the different texts. Chama, Daya, Arjavam, Tosham, Piyush, Vad, Bhaj. So when Chama, forgiveness, what is this forgiveness? Forgiveness to my mind. Mind, the way you are behaving and working is not fair. It is preventing me to recognize the knower number three. So I want forgiveness to myself so that I cannot create a situation that covers my real self. I am lost in watching the movie. I forget the TV screen. For that, I need a forgiveness. For that, I need a kindness. For that, I need a love. For that, I need Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Now, if I say, let everyone be happy, no one becomes happy, by saying. But what happens, our arrogance, the knower number two creates an arrogance. I have blessed you. I have blessed you. That is another topic that the teacher helps, no doubt. Teacher helps if the seeker is there, the receptivity is there, the faith is there. Those power definitely helps. But we are not going there. At present, our goal is to find who we are. What is the real self? So that is why the master is constantly hammering our mind. Change your stance. Where you are standing, step back. So when we step back, we discern, in Viveka, we see that separation. The moment we see separation, everything settles down. Limitations drops and dissolves. I don't remain local. I remain local for you, but inside I am not local. That is pure awareness. That is node number three, is real self is all pervading. It is only one. Then we don't see the reflected sun in 10 buckets of water. They are always different. Then your mind sees the sun only, one sun. 10 people means 10 buckets Buckets means the body. Mind is the water. So we have to sit down, we have to contemplate at this level, at this level of being a seeker, or we can say seeker number one, seeker number two, seeker number three. We can also use that. So, seeker number one, always being pleased, looking at the color and the form, always pleased, listening to the music that we like, feels the sensation of touch, specific sensation, the food, well, same, tushti, tripti, and rati. So either we can start contemplating, okay, this food I like, let me continue to eat. Let me continue to eat. Don't disturb the food that you like. But I have to ask myself about the tongue that tastes the food through the seeker number two. To have a discretion, to discern. How to discern? Negate it. How to negate? Oh, does this food comes to me and says, I will make you happy? See, we are covering again final, very subtle aspects. If this mouse is alive to surrounding, what will happen? So that mouse will alive to me. The moment this mouse is alive to me, it has likes and dislikes. So the next day I come to the room, this mouse is not there because mouse has already gone out. Look at it. So now go back to the same example. Food is not alive to me. I am alive to the food because I am conscious of this food and that food. So, what makes me alive to that food plus obsession and craving? Because I am seeking peace and happiness from outside, where it is not. Well, they are not alive to the surrounding. Food is not alive to the surrounding. Finished. So I continue to eat. If it is definitely good, nutritious, I continue to eat, but now there is no problem. Attachment is not there, obsession is not there. Now replace that food with your honey. That obsession is not there. Replace that food with a cloth. That obsession is not there. Why? I have recognized the knower seeker number one and two. I am none of these. I am not the desirer, seeker number one and two. I am none of them. So when I am not the seeker number one and two, how can I have a craving, obsession, attachment, duality, conflict, likes, dislikes, anger, hesitation? There is no question. So mind becomes a transparent mirror. There reflects the consciousness which is known as a seeker number three. Seeker number three does not seek anything. It says, recognize me. I am full of peace and happiness. Where are you going? That is another way to explain the witness consciousness. Eko drashtasi. Look at this Ashtavakra. He says, Eko drashtasi. There is only one witness consciousness. Seeker number 2 makes many. There are 10 buckets of water, so 10 people are there. One sun is reflecting. They don't recognize. They say, this is my consciousness, this is your consciousness. That is the journey to higher mindfulness. Eko drashtasi sarvasya mukta payosi sarvada. That node number 3, what it demands, it doesn't demand anything. It's always free. When? Here and now. With your honey, it is free. Without honey, it is free. You are a single, it is free. You are married, it is free. You are divorced, it is free. You have lot of money, it is free. You don't have any money, it is free. So that is what the master says. Mukta prayosi sarvada. Ayame vihite bandho. Ayame vihite bandho. I think I am limited. Who thinks knower number 2? Come on, leave that knower number 2. Then think. I am. 2 I am. 1 I am. Knower number 2. 1 I am is the real self. So discern. When you recognize the real knower number 3, knower number 2 has to do nothing. It will never say that I'm thinking, I'm in bondage, I'm limited, I'm stressed. Go back to the same example of the TV screen where the movie is going on, you like a particular actor, there is a plot, and now the actor is hit by the villain, and actor is crying, and you also started crying. So it is the same knower number 2 watching the movie. Knower number 2, second point, actor is crying. Knower number 3, you like the actor. The same knower number 2 here, who sees the actor is crying, so you also start crying. So everything, all the problem, suffering is happening in the world created by the mind. It cannot happen in the knower number 3. That is the real self, that is the witness consciousness. Nothing is happening there. Nothing is happening to the TV screen. I told you. Nothing is happening to the water. Nothing is happening to the water. Nothing is happening to the space. You build 9/11, World Trade Center, destroyed, nothing happened to the space. Oh, so are you comparing that space with the knower number 3? Yes. Are you comparing the water? H2O is H2O everywhere. You mix the salt, it becomes the salty water of the ocean, but H2O remains intact. That's why you can remove the salt from the mixture. So there is a mixture, I am plus I am. Mixture is there, but it is not a permanent mixture. That is why I said they both are together, they cannot be separated. But tell me how close they are. Don't ask me. They are just together. How far, how close, how near, how many centimeters close and how many millimeters near? No. It's a mixture. Because if it is a physical entity, then we can think how far in terms of measurement. It cannot be measured in terms of any object. What should I do? I have to separate through the knowledge inside my head. And the moment we separate, we are there. So the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom, that is why we say it is self-discovery to find. We use an adjective, we use a word, real self. It means there is a false self. So let me recognize the false self. Node number 1 and 2. But if I say, oh, let us find the self, I already know myself, what the heck you are talking about. You see, here also we have put the Viveka for the sake of understanding. Real self and the, oh, you're talking the real self, so am I, the way I understand myself is not the real self? No, it is not. No, it is yes. Are you living in peace all the time? Do you recognize peace, happiness, joy, love all the time in all locations with everyone? No. So you are living in false self. Am I worthy of suffering? No. Am I worthy of suffering? Yes, because of Noah number 1 and 2. That is the drama. It's happening. How can you stop body aging? One day you will also become 60 years old, you will become 70 years old. But that you is different from the real you. Who can give us this wisdom? Our masters. Otherwise, people take it for granted. 99.9999% people say, she is wonderful woman, and 1.5 years ago I went to her. You see how we create this barrier. So I said, what's your planning? I have taken an admission in a university. She is 55. So here in US, we get our so-called pension or social security at the age of 65. So what's your planning? I've taken an admission in a college, so I will do this course. And once I finish this course in 1 year, I'm doing it on a fast track. It's almost about 1.5 year back. And then I can pick up a job so I can continue putting some money in the social security. So at least I need not to work hard. After 65, I will retire. I said, wonderful goal. Why should I say anything? It's your goal. Wonderful. So after 3 months, I heard from her that she had a cancer. So her fast track program became the slowest. She has yet to complete her 1 semester, or even after 1.5 year. But for the 6 months, she got the treatment, and now almost she is treated. But she has to continue with her treatment with medication. Her entire lifestyle has changed. She met me, and then she said, I will complete this course in another 1.5 years. So you wanted to complete in 1 year fast track program. Now it will take 3 years. And what is going to happen tomorrow, I don't know. You do it. But don't get obsessed. Don't force your mind to create a condition. Make a project. Work on it. Work on it. But don't get obsessed. Remain aware that you are the witness consciousness. Anything and everything can change in a day, in an hour, in a minute. Why? I am not local. I am universal and transcendental. Both eyes are there. Who are ignorant, who do not know that there are two eyes. They are ignorant. Simple. You know how many members are there in the family. Yes, you know it. I should also know here. No number 1 and 2, I am not. But I have to continue to use I am. transactional reality. But knower number three need not to say that I exist or I do not. It always exists. It is always there. The moment that forgetfulness, Buddha, because of that forgetfulness, Buddha recognized that. So what he said, what the word he used in, we have a Sanskrit text, he used the word for mindfulness as samyak smriti. What is samyak smriti? Samyak smriti translated as right memory. Smriti means memory and samyak means right. That is always right. So he used the word self remembrance for meditation. What I have to do to remember. He never said you have to practice. Anyhow, one David Hadley was there. He went to Sri Lanka, he learned Buddhism, he returned to Britain. He was a Britisher, I think. Yes, I remember. Then he said this right memory, seventh path, he said it means the right, mindfulness. And then he explained mindfulness is right meditation. But he could never go clearly. I wonder if he had really studied everything clearly. So it was self remembrance. I already know, I always remember the knower number one and two. So self remembrance, the knower number three. We don't need to do anything. We need to do everything. We need to do a lot of things. If we are not a seeker, then we have to remember the discernment and dispassion and the six treasures. We have to bring the mind back again and again to knower number three. Knower number two and one works casually, normally in the world. It fights, then it says, I am suffering. Knower number three says, you are not worthy of suffering. You have a pain in the body, go to the doctor, get the best treatment. But at the same time, you know. Knower number three. Think of it, contemplate and reflect. Then we recognize this knower number three cannot be localized because it is all pervading. That is why we say it is a witness consciousness. Mindfulness is to know that knower or the